Imagine a woman walking alone, head held high, unafraid to face the world before her. She doesn't rely on anyone to feel whole. She knows who she is, what she wants, and what she deserves. Her strength comes from within, and her confidence isn't something she needs to seek or ask for. She already possesses it. But what makes her this way? What is the secret of women who thrive alone, who live life on their own terms without compromising their essence? This power, this unshakable self-respect, doesn't happen by chance. It's built step by step through habits that allow her to flourish and become unstoppable. Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 habits that every woman who thrives alone has in common. These habits aren't just actions, they are manifestations of a life philosophy, of self-mastery that transforms the way they interact with the world and with themselves. Are you ready to discover the power of self-respect and take the first steps toward living your truth with courage and confidence? Then, let's begin. Setting boundaries and saying no. The first habit that I practice and that I encourage all women to practice is setting boundaries and learning how to say no. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful and liberating actions you can take in your life. It's not about being selfish or closing yourself off from the world. It's about respecting yourself enough to protect your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. I learned this lesson early in my life. As a young student in the temples of China, I trained under many wise masters who showed me that true strength begins with inner clarity and self-respect. In the temple there were strict boundaries in place, not just physical but mental and spiritual. We were taught that in order to grow, we must first create a space in which we can cultivate peace and focus. Without that space, without those boundaries, we are vulnerable to the distractions and negativity of the world. I remember a profound lesson I received from Master Lin, a teacher who guided me in the mountains of Shaolin. He said, "A person who cannot say no is like a tree without roots, easily swayed by the wind. But a person who knows their boundaries is like the great mountain, steady, unmovable, and unwavering, no matter the storms." Master Lin's words were simple, yet they struck a deep chord within me. Boundaries are not walls that isolate us. They are the foundation on which we build our inner strength. When you set a boundary, you are saying to the world, "I respect myself enough to protect my peace." And by doing this, you also teach others how to treat you. It wasn't always easy. In the beginning, I struggled with saying no. I worried about disappointing others, about being seen as rude or selfish. But I realized that every time I said yes to something that drained me, I was saying no to my own well-being, to my own peace. Slowly, I learned that saying no is not a rejection of others. It's a form of self-respect. It's an affirmation that your time, your energy, and your emotional health are valuable. When you start practicing this habit, the world around you will begin to respond differently. People will begin to respect your time and your space, because you show them that you respect yourself. You will no longer feel overwhelmed or taken for granted. Instead, you'll find that you are in control of your life and your decisions. True strength is not in what you accept, but in what you choose to reject. Learning to say no is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It is a declaration of your worth and your commitment to living a life of respect, both for yourself and for those around you. Prioritizing self-care and mental health. The second habit that every woman who thrives alone practices is prioritizing self-care and mental health. This is not just about pampering yourself or indulging in occasional luxuries. True self-care is about nurturing your body, mind, and spirit, creating a balance that supports your well-being and making time for yourself without guilt. As I reflect on my own journey, I remember how hard it was to truly embrace the importance of self-care. During my years of training at the temple, I was often consumed by discipline and striving for perfection. I thought that to be strong, I needed to constantly push myself, ignoring my own fatigue and emotional needs. But I learned through deep reflection and meditation that this approach was unsustainable. In the teachings of Taoism, which deeply influenced my life, there is an important principle that says, the way of nature is balance, and only when the body, mind, and spirit are in harmony can one achieve true strength and peace. I remember my teacher, Master Li, telling me during one of our sessions, "You cannot pour from an empty cup to help others, you must first care for yourself." This wisdom struck me deeply. In the temple, we learned that our strength is not measured by how much we can endure, but by our ability to recognize when we need rest, renewal, and care. Mental health is not something to neglect or ignore. It is as vital as physical health. Without mental clarity, our actions and decisions become clouded. Without emotional well-being, our inner peace fades. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Just as we care for our bodies by feeding them healthy food, exercising, and resting, we must care for our minds by giving them space to relax, to reflect, and to rejuvenate. Women who thrive alone understand that their emotional and mental health is their foundation, and without it, nothing else can thrive. I encourage you to take time each day to practice self-care. This doesn't mean long, complicated rituals. Sometimes it's as simple as taking a few moments to breathe, to meditate, or to reflect on the things you're grateful for. It's about setting aside time just for you, away from the demands of others. The act of prioritizing yourself isn't selfish. It is an investment in your ability to show up fully for the world around you. When you make self-care a priority, you're telling yourself that you are worthy of peace, of rest, and of care. You're telling yourself that you deserve to be your best self, and that you can only do that if you take care of your mind and spirit. Remember, it is only when we are balanced within ourselves that we can truly help and uplift others. Cultivating independence and self-sufficiency. The third habit that every woman who thrives alone practices is cultivating independence and self-sufficiency. This is not about isolating yourself from others or rejecting help when needed. It's about standing strong in your own power, trusting in your ability to navigate the world on your own terms, and knowing that your happiness and well-being do not depend on others. I remember a time in my life when I was constantly seeking validation from others. I believed that my worth was tied to the approval of those around me. But through years of practice and reflection, I came to understand that true strength comes from within. It comes from the realization that I am enough, just as I am. My happiness and peace of mind are not for others to determine, they are mine to create. My journey into self-reliance began during my years at the Shaolin Temple. The Shaolin Temple, one of the most revered Buddhist monasteries in China, has been a center of wisdom for over 1500 years. I arrived at Shaolin as a young disciple, eager to learn but unaware of the deep truths that awaited me. It was there, in the quiet meditation halls and the intense training practices, that I first encountered the teachings of Confucius, a philosopher whose ideas about self-reliance would change my life forever. Confucius, who lived around 2500 years ago, is one of the most influential figures in Chinese philosophy. He taught that personal strength comes not from external sources, but from developing virtue, wisdom, and self-reliance within oneself. He said, the strength of a person lies in their ability to rely on themselves, to grow from within, and stand firm in the face of life's challenges. These teachings of Confucius were introduced to me by my master, Master Chen, who had spent years studying ancient texts and had deep respect for Confucian values. During one of our training sessions, he shared a passage with me that deeply resonated. If you rely on others for your happiness, you will always be at the mercy of their moods, their actions, and their decisions. But if you rely on yourself, you will find strength and peace in the midst of any storm. Master Chen taught me that true independence isn't about pushing others away or rejecting help. It's about knowing that you have the inner strength to stand on your own, to make decisions based on your values, and to trust in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. The lessons I learned at Shaolin were about more than just physical discipline. They were about the cultivation of an inner fortress. The ability to stand alone, even in the face of adversity, is the core of self-reliance. I was taught that while we may seek wisdom and guidance from others, it is our own internal resources that allow us to rise to any occasion. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean you must do everything alone. It means knowing that you are the foundation of your own strength, that you can navigate life's challenges with resilience and wisdom. The women who thrive alone understand that their happiness is not contingent on others. They know that they have the power to shape their own destiny. When you cultivate self-reliance, you embrace your ability to make empowered decisions for yourself. You recognize your value without needing external validation. And in doing so, you become the master of your own life. This habit of self-sufficiency is what allows you to face challenges, embrace opportunities, and grow into your fullest potential. Embracing personal growth and continuous learning. The fourth habit that women who thrive alone practice is embracing personal growth. and continuous learning. This habit is the commitment to never stop evolving, to seek out new experiences, and to continually strive for a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Personal growth is a journey, not a destination. It's about developing a mindset that seeks knowledge, challenges limits, and remains open to new possibilities. Psychologically, growth is rooted in the mindset we cultivate. As humans, we are wired for growth. It's a fundamental part of our nature. The process of learning and evolving is how we adapt and become stronger. But to truly grow, we must first embrace the idea of learning from every experience, whether good or bad, and applying that wisdom to our lives. One of the most profound psychological theories that has reshaped the way we view growth is Carol Dweck's growth mindset. Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, suggests that people with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, learning, and perseverance. In her groundbreaking book Mindset: The New Psychology of Success, Dweck highlights how individuals with a growth mindset embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and persist in the face of setbacks. This mindset is the key to personal and professional development. Women who thrive alone embody this growth mindset. They understand that their potential is not fixed, but ever expanding. They approach challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn and evolve. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every success is a step forward, but not the end of their journey. The power of a growth mindset is that it encourages resilience. It fosters the ability to bounce back from setbacks and use adversity as fuel for growth. When you adopt this mindset, you stop seeing challenges as threats and begin to view them as opportunities for improvement. This shift in perspective can transform your life and open doors you never imagined. I encourage you to ask yourself, what are the areas of my life where I feel I could grow? Think about the challenges you faced. What lessons can you extract from them? How can you use what you've learned to propel yourself forward? The key is to never stop learning and to never stop evolving. Celebrating achievements and practicing gratitude. The final habit that women who thrive alone practice is celebrating their achievements and regularly practicing gratitude. This habit is not only about acknowledging your successes, but also about recognizing the power of gratitude to shape your mindset and well-being. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools we have to maintain a positive outlook on life, especially when we face challenges. As we go through life, it's easy to overlook our accomplishments, especially when we are focused on what's next or on what we haven't yet achieved. But it's essential to take the time to celebrate our progress, no matter how big or small. Celebrating achievements reinforces the connection between effort and success, and it strengthens our belief in our own capabilities. Research in neuroscience has shown that practicing gratitude has profound effects on the brain. Dr. Robert Emmons, a professor at the University of California, has conducted extensive research on the impact of gratitude on mental health. In one of his studies, Emmons found that individuals who regularly practice gratitude experience increased levels of happiness, reduced levels of depression, and even improved physical health. Emmons' studies suggest that gratitude activates the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, a region of the brain associated with positive emotions and decision-making. This activation helps us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have, creating a cycle of positivity and contentment. When we take time to celebrate our achievements and express gratitude, we are not only strengthening our mental resilience, but also improving our neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow. The more we practice gratitude, the more we condition our brain to focus on the positive, which in turn helps us manage stress, enhance our well-being, and improve our relationships with others. I encourage you to take a moment every day to acknowledge something you are grateful for, no matter how small it may seem. This simple act can dramatically shift your mindset and improve your mental state, whether it's the support of a friend, a small victory at work, or the beauty of nature around you. Celebrating these moments creates a ripple effect of positivity in your life. Gratitude also teaches us to embrace the present moment. Women who thrive alone know how to be fully present, appreciating what they have now, while still striving for growth and improvement. This practice of gratitude and celebration strengthens their inner confidence and helps them continue to move forward with resilience. Now that you have discovered the 5 powerful habits of women who thrive alone, I encourage you to begin applying them in your own life. These habits are not just theories or ideals, they are practical, actionable steps that will help you cultivate self-respect, independence, and inner strength. It's time to take ownership of your journey and embrace the power of living life on your own terms. Remember, this process isn't about perfection, it's about growth. It's about taking small, meaningful actions every day that bring you closer to the woman you are meant to be. By setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, embracing independence, continuously learning, and practicing gratitude, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're building a life that reflects your worth, your potential, and your purpose. As you move forward, I challenge you to take one small step today, whether it's saying no to something that drains you, taking time for self-care, learning something new, or simply reflecting on something you are grateful for. Make today the day you start honoring yourself in a deeper way. Leave a comment below and let me know which of these 5 habits you're most excited to implement in your life. Share this video with others who may benefit from these powerful practices. And remember, your journey of self-respect and empowerment starts now. You have everything inside you to live the life you deserve. Step into your power, trust yourself, and know that you are worthy of all the good that's waiting for you. Take that first step today and join me in creating a world where women thrive alone in their power and in their self-respect. Gratitude.